Stay out of trouble, elf.
Thane Bryling, at your service.
The Imperials are good for business, and business is good for Skyrim.
Delvin Mallory said you have work for me.
About time you got here. I'm not accustomed to dealing with people who are unreliable. That's why I asked Delvin to send me his best.
That's why he sent me.
Huh, that remains to be seen. Nothing raises my ire more than having an agreement broken. It's bad for business, and it wastes time. Captain Volf of the Dainty Slode has decided to test my patience on this matter by neglecting to honor a trade agreement we had established.
I assume this is where I enter the picture.
I need you to help me show him the error of his ways by sneaking on board the Slode and planting some contraband.
What sort of contraband?
You'll need to get your hands on some Balmora Blue from Sabine Niet down by the docks. She's the first mate on another ship, the Red Wave. Once you get your hands on it, I want you to plant it in Captain Volf's footlocker. I'll take care of the rest.
Consider it done.
Captain Volf is ashore right now, and I want the authorities waiting for him when he gets back.
Now get going. I don't want to see your face until the job's done.
What exactly is Balmora Blue?
Not sure. I know that it starts with moon sugar, but all sorts of other ingredients are added to increase its potency. Used to be a lucrative underworld commodity when Balmora was still standing. Now the stuff is beyond valuable. It's also very illegal. Anyone caught with Balmora Blue looks forward to rotting in jail for a very long time. I must return to the court. They simply can't make do without me.
Tidings. It annoys us. What does it want to take from us now?
Have you noticed? The windmill doesn't actually move.
You reek! A little friendly advice. Take a bath and get some new clothes. Whatever you're about to say, don't bother. I don't want to hear it.
I'm looking for some Balmora Blue.
Well then, you're talking to the right person. I'm the only one left in Tamriel that can get my hands on it. It's damn near impossible to find anymore. You want to buy it off of me?
Sure, I'll take it.
Good. Here, take this key. The Balmora Blue is locked in a chest under the docks near the Red Wave. Hope you like getting wet.
Go to college, Darcy. Use your smarts, he said.
Retire.
I'm supposed to figure out which college.
Springtime in old straws, Mackay.
Might pay off my bounty this time. Walk into the city a free man.
Should have known she was lying.
2 3s.
She said she'd
What
wait
was
for
he
me.
thinking?
But they
Fool
never
never
agreed.
saw him pull that ace out of my boot.
Lying.
Howdy.
Brand of mine could be anyone's.
Like that.
Get one rusty septic from me.
Or poison's meat. Simple as that. Never enough gold.
Piece of skooma.
Just need
Important
one
stuff.
good haul.
Just one last time.
Wizards.
Bunch of power scavengers from what I've seen.
The Imperials are good for business, and business is good for Skyrim.
I've planted the contraband on the dainty sload.
Yes, I know. In fact, by now, Captain Wolf should be on his way to the prisons. Our contract is complete. Here's a token of my gratitude for your efforts. Oh, convey my compliments to Delvin for me. Tell him I'll be happy to reopen whatever doors he needs in Solitude. I must return to the court. They simply can't make do without me.
As you know, Solitude's... are much depleted by the war efforts. They...
You're someone who can get things done. I like that.
Here's the glassfish you requested in your bounty.
I'm grateful for your efforts. Here, take this.
Thanks for the coin, and a note from the Jarl?
Like I've already mentioned in my notice, it's a private matter. Requires a more delicate approach.
Zarya's note from Jarl Siggeir. Zarya, I have a matter that requires your skills as an apothecary. I've received reports of skooma having gone missing from the evidence chest. There have also been mentions of one particular member of the guard neglecting his duties. I believe these to be related. This is where I require your talents. I request that you brew an invisibility potion and then pour it into an empty bottle of skooma. Then find someone whom you trust to deliver the disguised potion to the layabout always seen lounging in the barracks.
This place sells a lot of crap.
Falkreath's warriors always return, one way or another.
I'll deliver the disguised potion in exchange for the Jarl's ring.
Thank you. Here, this is for you.
I'll return when the deed is done. Hopefully he learns his lesson.
Ooh, I have no doubt that he will learn. Just a shame I can't be there to enjoy the show. If either these Nords or Imperials had some red in their blood...
What is it? Get away from me!
Here's a bottle of skooma I found laying about. I trust you'll lock it away?
Of course. Soon. I can almost taste it.
Somebody do something! God help us!
Oh no. By the gods, this can't be happening.
Good evening. Come to gawk at the monster?
Why are you imprisoned here?
A little girl is dead because of me. Believe me, it wasn't anything I ever intended to do. I just lost control. Tried to tell them, but none of them believe me. It's all on account of this blasted ring.
What ring?
This is the ring of Hersing. I was told it could let me control my transformations. Perhaps it used to, but I'll never know. Hersing didn't care for my taking it, and threw a curse on it. I put it on, and the changes just came to me. I could never guess when. It would be at the worst times. Like with the little girl.
What kind of transformations?
I don't suppose there's a point in keeping the secret if I'm going to die in here anyway. I'm sure you've heard of men who shift to beasts under the influence of the moons. I am one of them. A werewolf. It's my secret, and my shame. That's why I wanted the ring. It was said to give men like me control. Now, I may look like a man, but I still feel the animal inside of me as strong as ever.
What will you do now?
I've been looking for a way to appease Hersing. There is a certain beast in these lands. Large, majestic. It's said that Hersing will commune with whoever slays it. I tracked it into these woods, but then I had my accident with the child. I want to beg his forgiveness. Give him back the ring. But while I'm stuck in here, the beast wanders free.
Why did this make you attack the girl?
I had just come into Falkreath. They needed some help work in the mill, and I thought that would be something safe, something I could do. When I saw the little girl, I could feel it coming on. I could taste it. I needed to hunt. But this pitiful, limited body wasn't meant for hunting. Slow, no claws. Weak, mashing teeth for chewing cud. I held in my rage as long as I could, but it boiled inside of me. She looked so fragile, helpless prey, and then I feel terrible about what happened, about what I did. It would probably be best for everyone if I just went away.
I'll take the ring to Hersine.
Oh my. You would do this for me? Here, take it. I don't want anything to do with this wretched thing anymore. Seek out the beast. He wanders these woods. Bring him down and, well, the Lord of the Hunt should smile on you. I wish you luck, but you leave here while I still have my skin. Should our paths cross again, I will remember your kindness. Farewell.
Guard's Bounty Letter Draft. Bounty, by order of Siggeir, to all able-bodied men and women of Falkreath. To all able-bodied men and women of Falkreath, a wanted bandit has been hiding in the forests south of Sunderstone Gorge, posing as a hunter. Rumor has it that he is accompanied by a fearsome wolf. A reward will be offered to anyone who kills him. Ninya. Guard's note. The steward will have to sign off on it, but I was thinking we should have the bandit's possessions serve as a reward in lieu of gold. According to the informant, he might be carrying valuables with him. I'll bring it up with the steward when I have her sign the bounty. Besides, the more gold we save on bounty hunters, the more we have for the guard. I still haven't gotten approval for the funds to have Laud fix my shield.
Falkreath's warriors always return, one way or another. If either these Nords or Imperials had some red in their blood, this war would be over.
I don't think that guard will be using skooma any longer.
Excellent. You've done us a great service. Here is your reward. Until next time.
How do you do, Thane?
Come see me in the market if you're...
Mud crabs are fascinating creatures, don't you think? How anyone could regard mud crabs as vermin is simply beyond me.
Know of anyone in need of fishing work around Skyrim?
You're headed to Whiterun. No one here has taken this request, because it came from a child. But I would appreciate it if you could take care of it like what you did for me.
Looks like your juvenile mud crab is growing up fast.
Adorable, right? I hope that's how people feel when they give us a curious look. Until next time.
You take me to some strange bloody places, don't you?
It's a shame the fishery doesn't share my interest in mud crabs. We could have achieved much.
Bounty. Goldfish. Bounty. I want a goldfish. I can take good care of it. Mom said that if I want one, I should go catch it myself, but I'm just a kid. Anyone who brings me a goldfish will be my best friend. Mila Valencia.
How do you do things? Greybeards have summoned the Dragonborn to High Hrothgar. Such a thing has not happened for hundreds of years.
Hey, you're not supposed to be down here. Official business only. What are you doing down here?
It's fine, I'm allowed to be here.
Oh, my mistake then. Sorry, you can go on ahead.
Well, well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes? I've always got time for lovely ladies. Have you come to gawk at me, or is this a social call?
Why are you in jail?
Look, we all have our flaws. Mine is that women can't get enough of me. So I had this little affair going on while I was betrothed to a beautiful girl named Svidi. Well, she finds out and she tells her brother Wolfer that her brother attacks me with a knife. I mean, I had to defend myself.
So you got arrested for his murder?
Exactly. And now I have to stare at these bars for 8 months. Can you believe it? I was about to let that wench marry into the richest family in Riften, and this is how she repays me. I'd do anything to have that whore's head on a platter. All I need to know is where she is.
I'll help you find her.
Ah, that's the spirit. Find her and I promise you'll be well compensated.
Tell me about your family.
When speaking of the Blackbriars, only one thought should spring to mind. We are not to be trifled with. Help us, you end up rich. Cross us, and you'll end up a memory. Is that enough information for you?
Do you have any information on Sweetie?
She was a young woman, buxom, with long flowing black hair. She used to sing the most lovely songs to me when we were courting. Never heard a voice so beautiful. All that talent will go to waste when I'm finished with her.
You're serving only 8 months for murder?
Yeah, Mother thought I should be taught a lesson for airing the family's dirty laundry in public. I mean, I've taken care of many people for her in the past. What in oblivion did she expect me to do? Ah, well, at least I have all the comforts of home during my stay. Well, except the touch of a woman, of course.
I was sent by Louis Latruche.
Ah, and let me guess. He wants his horse. Well, that's going to be a bit of a problem. You see, I don't really outright own Frost.
You don't own the horse you already sold to Latruche?
That is correct. You see, Frost belongs to the Blackbriar estate. Technically, everything in the estate is owned by my mother, Maven. My plan was to take the horse from our lodge and deliver it to Latruche at the stables. Obviously, that didn't exactly work out as I'd planned. Still, I don't want to cross Latruche. Tell you what, steal the horse and deliver it, and you can have the second half of the payment.
You know, I bet Maven would pay me even more for this info.
Sure, take advantage of the guy in jail. Okay, fine, I can make the deal sweeter. I obviously don't have anything here, but there's a hidden stash in the lodge, and I did manage to hold on to the key. Take it.
You piece of shit. If you think you're brave enough to say that again without these bars between us, you come and find me when your mother releases you from your little timeout.
Have you heard? There's been another dragon attack. Kynes Grove this time.
I like the rift better than anyone.
If you've got the coin, you've come to the right place. Pull up a seat.
Listen up. You're off to speak to Maven Blackbriar. She asked for you by name.
Good. It's about time I met her.
Don't sound so eager. It's not a social visit. It's business.
What does Maven want from me?
That's between you and Maven, and I prefer to keep it that way. Don't worry about it. Maven's business dealings usually involve quite a bit of gold for her people.
Well, if it isn't Brynjolf's little protege. Steal anything worth talking about?
I've completed the burglary job.
Amazing what people leave laying around for us to take, isn't it? Don't give up now. There's plenty of loot out there just ripe for the taking.
Need some gold? I may have some work for you.
I've finished that special solitude job.
Erica assures me that Captain Wolf will spend pretty much the rest of his life clapped in irons. Best of all, he's also pledged to open doors for us in Solitude and to get things rolling again. I think you'll find that the guild is beginning to grow. We've had a merchant move into the space right outside the flagon. It's nice to shake off the cobwebs and get things rolling again. Keep this up, and I can see a bounty headed our way. The only way this guild's going to continue to grow is by taking extra work. Looking for work?
I heard you're offering extra work.
I handle the fishing, numbers and bedlam jobs. The ones with a more personal touch. If break-ins are more your thing, go talk to Vex.
Do you have any numbers jobs?
Got a personal request from Brynjolf on this numbers job. He says we may hit 'em hard later, and he wants to prep their books. Help us out?
I'll do it.
Here's everything you need. You get caught, and we've never heard of you.
Ready for some work, or are you just gonna wander around all day?
Her sword don't understand us, so don't expect her to compromise with anything you say.
So you're the one. You don't look so impressive.
How about we skip the conversation?
You're a firebrand, aren't you? It's about time Brynjolf sent me someone with business sense. I was beginning to think he was running some sort of beggars guild over there.
You have no faith in the guild?
Faith? I don't have faith in anyone. All I care about is cause and effect. Did the job get done, and was it done correctly? There's no gray area.
You won't have that problem with me.
I hope not. This is an important job. I have a competitor called Hunningbrew Meadery that I want to put out of business. I also want to know how they managed to get the place up and running so quickly.
Where do I begin?
Head to the Bannered Mare in Whiterun and look for Malus Machius. He'll fill you in on all the details. One more time, in case I wasn't clear. You butcher this job, and you will be sorry.
What do you need?
Kaiden, was it? My, you're a large one, aren't you?
Thanks.
If you're looking for work, the Blackbriar Estate is always hiring. And if you have any news regarding the dragons or the war, do remember that I pay well for information.
I don't think so.
Well, if you change your mind, you know where to find me. I've always felt that those lacking in brains have the best sword arm, don't you think? Small is useful.
Ours is to smile at your passing, friend.
Barbarians? Tread carefully. I'm warning you.
Likewise.
You have some nerve coming.
Need something?
All meats guaranteed clean and free from Rothschild.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
Need something?
Can't a man drink in peace?
Maven said you're expecting me.
I'm gonna keep this short because we've got a lot to do. Haunting Brew's owner, Sadyorn, is about to hold a tasting for Whiterun's Captain of the Guard, and we're going to poison the mead.
You have the poison?
No, that's the beauty of the whole plan. We're going to get Sadyorn to give it to us. The meadery has quite a pest problem and the whole city knows about it. Pest poison and mead don't mix well, you know what I mean?
How do I fit in?
You're going to happen by and lend poor old Sadyorn a helping hand. He's going to give you the poison to use on the pests, but you're also going to dump it into the brewing vat.
Clever.
Maven and I spent weeks planning this. All we need is someone like you to get in there and get it done. Now get going before Sadyorn grows a brain and hires someone else to do the dirty work.
How do I get to the brewing vats?
Both of the buildings are connected by tunnels made by the pests infesting the meadery. There's an entrance to it in the basement storeroom of the warehouse that used to be boarded over. I've already removed the boards so the meadery would get infested. That's where you should start.
What about just going in through the brewery?
Sadyorn keeps that locked up tight. If you can get through that way, go right ahead.
Why are you doing all this?
I made the mistake of borrowing coin from Sadyorn. He's allowing me to pay it back, but he's working my fingers to the bone. He treats me like a slave. I have to do every nasty, dirty job in the meadery.
There's more to this than a debt, isn't there?
If this plan works, not only is my debt gone, but I'll be set up for life. Maven and I worked out a little deal. If Sabjorn ends up in jail, she's gonna take over his meadery. And guess who gets to run the Blackbriar meadery in Whiterun? You're looking at him.
Why bother poisoning the nest for Sabjorn?
Once Sabjorn is out of the way, Maven has plans for the place. One way or another, we don't want the pests coming back. Consider it just more of the dirty work. I did my part getting them in there, now you need to clear them out. Remember, Sabjorn will be needing a helping hand. Make it look good.
You're back! Let's play a game.
Sure.
What do you want to play?
Let's play tag.
Okay, you're it. Leave me alone! You can't... Oh, you got me. Got you.
It's actually quite beautiful here.
You can't catch me. Oh, you got me. You can't catch me. You can't catch me. You can't catch me. You're too slow. You can't catch me. Arr! Got you. Got you. Mama!
Need something?
Honor to you, my Thane.
I'm here to collect the plantation's profits.
Very good, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Huh?
Good afternoon.
How are you? Are you feeling okay?
So we're facing the literal end of the world.
I know you must feel like you have the weight of Nirn on your shoulders, love.
This is all so sudden, I don't know how I feel right now.
Life can change without a moment's notice. And with the things you and I have to endure, it's only going to be natural to feel down. But you have to remember that your inner strength has got you this far. And be proud of yourself for that alone.
I don't even know if I can do this, Kaiden.
You're a powerful goddess who has been sent to save Nirn from an untimely end. And you and me, together, we've got this.
I don't want to put you at risk, so don't feel you have to help me.
Hey, I will stand and fight for you until the end. With all that I am, I kneel before you. My sword and my strength is yours, Dragonborn.
The Mystery of Princess Talara, Part 3, by Mara Lyketh, Part 3 of the story of Princess Talara. Norbuth was leaving his favorite pub in Camlorn, the Breaking Branch, when he heard someone calling his name. His was not the sort of name that could be mistaken for another. He turned and saw Lord Errol, the royal battle mage from the palace, emerge from the darkness of the alley. "My lord," said Norbuth with a pleasant smile. "I'm surprised to see you out this evening, Norbuth," grinned Lord Errol with a most unpleasant smile. "I've not seen you and your master very much since the millennial celebration, but I understand you've been very busy. What I've been wondering is what you've been busy doing." "Protecting the imperial interests in Camlorn is busy work, my lord, but I cannot imagine you would be interested in the minutiae of the ambassador's appointments." "But I am," said the battle mage, "especially as the ambassador has begun acting most mysteriously, most undiplomatically lately. And I understand that he has taken one of the whores from the flower festival into his house. I believe her name is Gaina." Norbuth shrugged. "He's in love, I would imagine, my lord. It can make men act very strangely, as I'm sure you've heard before." "She is a most comely wench," laughed Lord Errol. "Have you ever noticed how much she resembles the late Princess Talara?" "I've only been in Camlorn for 15 years, my lord. I never saw her late majesty." Now I could understand it if he had taken to writing poetry, but what man in love spends his days in the kitchens of the palace talking to old servants? That hardly sounds like molten passion to me, even based on my limited experience. Lord Errol rolled his eyes. "And what is this business he has now in... oh, what is the name of that village?" "Ummington," replied Norbuth, and immediately wished he hadn't. Lord Errol was too canny an actor to reveal it, but Norbuth knew at the pit of his stomach that the battle mage did not even know Lord Strail had left the capital. He had to get away to let the ambassador know, but there was still a game to be carefully played. "He's not leaving for there until tomorrow. I believe it's just to put a stamp on some deed that needs the imperial seal." "Is that all? How tedious for the poor fellow. I suppose I'll see him when he returns, then." Lord Errol bowed. "Thank you for being so informative. Farewell." The moment the royal battle mage turned the corner, Norbuth leapt onto his horse. He had drunk 1 or 2 ales too many, but he knew he must find his way to Ummington before Lord Errol's agents did. He galloped east out of the capital, hoping there were signs along the road. Seated in a tavern that smelled of mildew and sour beer, Lord Strail marveled at how the Emperor's agent, Lady Brissiana, always found the most public of places for her most private of conferences. It was harvest time in Ummington, and all the field hands were drinking away their meagre wages in the noisiest of fashions. He was dressed appropriately for the venue, rough trousers and a simple peasant's vest, but he still felt conspicuous. In comparison to his 2 female companions, he certainly was. The woman to his right was used to frequenting the low places of Daggerfall as a common prostitute. Lady Brissiana, to his left, was even more clearly in her element. "By what name would you prefer I call you?" Lady Brissiana asked solicitously. "I am used to the name Gaina, though that may have to change," was her reply. "Of course, it may not. Gaina the whore may be the name written on my grave." "I will see to it that there is no attempt on your life like that at the flower festival," Lord Strail frowned. "But without the Emperor's help, I won't be able to protect you forever. The only permanent solution is to capture those who would do you harm, and then to raise you to your proper station. Do you believe my story?" Gaina turned to Lady Brissiana. "I have been the Emperor's chief agent in High Rock for many years now, and I have heard few stranger tales. If your friend the ambassador hadn't investigated and discovered what he has, I would have dismissed you outright as a madman." Brissiana laughed, forcing a smile onto Gaina's face to match. "But now, yes, I do believe you. Perhaps that makes me the madwoman." "Will you help us?" asked Lord Strail simply. "It is a tricky business interfering in the affairs of the provincial kingdoms." Lady Brissiana looked into the depths of her mug thoughtfully. Unless there is a threat to the Empire itself, we find it is best not to meddle. What we have in your case is a very messy assassination that happened 20 years ago, and its aftermath. If His Imperial Majesty involved himself in every bloody hiccup in the succession in each of his 1,000 vassal kingdoms, he would never accomplish anything for the greater good of Tamriel. I understand, murmured Gaina. When I remembered everything, who I was and what happened to me, I resolved to do nothing about it. In fact, I was leaving Camlorn and going back home to Daggerfall when I saw Lord Strail again. He was the one who began this quest to resolve this, not me. And when he brought me back, I only wanted to see my cousin to tell her who I was, but he forbade me. It would have been too dangerous, growled Strail. We still don't know yet the depths of the conspiracy. Perhaps we never will. I'm sorry. I always find myself giving long explanations to short questions. When Lord Strail asked if I would help, I should have begun by saying yes. Lady Brissiana laughed at the change in Lord Strail and Gaina's expressions. I will help you, of course. But for this to turn out well, you must accomplish 2 things to the Emperor's satisfaction. First, you must prove with absolute certainty who is the power behind this plot you've uncovered. You must get someone to confess. And secondly, said Lord Strail, nodding, we must prove that this is a matter worthy of His Majesty's consideration, not merely a minor local concern. Lord Strail, Lady Brissiana, and the woman who called herself Gaina discussed how to accomplish their goals for a few hours more. When it was agreed what had to be done, Lady Brissiana took her leave to find her ally Prosecus. Strail and Gaina set off to the west, towards Camlorn. It was not long after beginning their ride through the woods that they heard the sound of galloping hoofbeats far up ahead. Lord Strail unsheathed his sword and signaled for Gaina to position her horse behind him. At that moment, they were attacked on all sides. It was an ambush. 8 men, armed with axes, had been lying in wait. Lord Strail quickly yanked Gaina from her horse, pulling her behind him. He made a brief, deft motion with his hands. A ring of flame materialized around them and rushed outward, striking their assailants. The men roared in pain and dropped to their knees. Lord Strail jumped the horse over the closest one and galloped at full speed westward. I thought you were an ambassador, not a mage, laughed Gaina. I still believe there are times for diplomacy, replied Lord Strail. The horse and rider they had heard before met them on the road. It was Norbuth. My lord, it's the royal battle mage. He found out you two were in Umbington. With considerable ease, I might add, Lord Errol's voice boomed out of the woods. Norbuth, Gaina, and Lord Strail scanned the dark trees, but they showed nothing. The battle mage's voice seemed to emanate from everywhere and nowhere. I'm sorry, my lord, groaned Norbuth. I tried to warn you as soon as I could. In your next life, perhaps you'll remember not to trust your plans to a drunkard, laughed Lord Errol. He had them in his sights, and the spell was unleashed. Norbuth saw him first, by the light of the ball of fire that leapt from his fingertips. Later, Lord Errol was to wonder to himself what the fool had intended to do. Perhaps he was rushing forward to pull Lord Strail out of the path. Perhaps he was trying to flee the path of destruction, and had simply moved left when he should have moved right. Perhaps, as unlikely as it seemed, he was willing to sacrifice himself to save his master. Whatever the reason, the result was the same. He got in the way. There was an explosion of energy that filled the night, and an echoing boom that shook birds from the trees for a mile around. On the few square feet where Norbuth and his horse had stood, there was nothing but black glass. They had been reduced to less than vapor. Gaina and Lord Strail were thrown back. Their horse, when it recovered its senses, galloped away as fast as it could. In the lingering glowing aura of the spell's detonation, Lord Strail looked straight into the woods and into the wide eyes of the battle mage. Damn, said Lord Errol, and began to run. The ambassador jumped to his feet and pursued. That was an expensive use of magicka, even for you, said Lord Strail as he ran. Don't you know well enough not to use ranged spells unless you are certain your target won't be blocked? I never thought, that idiot! Lord Errol was struck from behind, knocked to the wet forest floor before he had a chance to finish his lamentation. It doesn't matter what you thought, said Lord Strail calmly, flipping the battle mage around and pinning his arms to the ground with his knees. I'm not a battle mage, but I knew enough not to use my entire reserve on your little ambush. Perhaps it's a matter of philosophy, as a government agent, that I feel inclined towards conservatism. And what are you going to do? Whimpered Lord Errol. Norbuth was a good man, one of the best, and so I'm going to hurt you quite a lot. The ambassador made a slight movement, and his hands began to glow brightly. That's a certainty. How much more I'm going to hurt you after that depends on what you tell me. I want to hear about the former Duke of Olaline. What do you want to know? Lord Errol screamed. Let's start with everything, replied Lord Strail with perfect patience. Mystery of Talara, Part 4, by Mara Lykia, Part 4 of the story of Princess Talara. Gaina never saw the Emperor's agent, Lady Brisciana, again. She kept her promise. Prosicus, a nightblade in the service of the Empire, arrived at Lord Strail's house in disguise. She was an apt pupil, and within days he had taught her what she needed to know. It is a simple charm, not the sort of spell that could turn a raging Daedroth into a love-struck puppy, said Prosicus. If you do or say anything that would normally anger or offend your target, the power will weaken. It will alter temporarily his perception of you, as spells of the School of Illusion do, but his feelings of respect and admiration for you must be supported by means of a charm of a less magical nature. I understand, smiled Gaina, thanking her tutor for the 2 spells of illusion he had taught her. The time had come to use her newfound skill. The Prostitutes' Guild House of Camlorn was a great palace in an affluent northern quarter of the city. Prince Cylon could have found his way there blindfold, or blind drunk as he often was. Tonight, however, he was only slightly inebriated, and he resolved to drink no more. Tonight he was in the mood for pleasure, his kind of pleasure. Where is my favorite, Grigia? He demanded of the guild mistress upon entering. She is still healing from your appointment with her last week, she smiled serenely. Most of the other women are in with clients as well, but I saved a special treat for you, a new girl, one you will certainly enjoy. The prince was guided to a sumptuously decorated suite of velvet and silk. As he entered, Gaina stepped from behind a screen and cast her spell quickly, with her mind open to belief as Prosicus had instructed. It was hard to tell if it worked at first. The prince looked at her with a cruel smile, and then, like sun breaking through clouds, the cruelty left. She could tell he was hers. He asked her name. I'm between names right now, she teased. I've never made love to a real prince before. I've never even been inside a palace. Is yours very big? It's not mine yet, he shrugged, but someday I'll be king. It would be wonderful to live in such a palace, Gaina cooed. 1,000 years of history. Everything must be so old and beautiful. The paintings and books and statues and tapestries. Does your family hold on to all their old treasures? Yes, hoarded away with a lot of old, boring junk in the archive rooms in the vaults. Please, may I see you naked now? First, a little conversation, though you may feel free to disrobe whenever you like, said Gaina. I had heard there was an archive room, but it's quite hidden away. There's a false wall behind the family crypt, said the prince, gripping her wrist and pulling her towards him for a kiss. Something in his eyes had changed. Your Highness, you're hurting my arm, Gaina cried. Enough talk, you bewitching whore, he snarled. Holding back a sharp jab of fear, Gaina let her mind cool and perceptions whirl. As his angry mouth touched her lips, she cast the second spell she had learned from her illusionist mentor. The prince felt his flesh turn to stone. He remained frozen, watching Gaina pull together her clothing and leave the room. The paralysis would only last for a few more minutes, but it was all the time she needed. The guild mistress had already left with all of her girls, just as Gaina and Lord Strail had told her to. They would tell her when it was safe to return. She had not even accepted any gold for her part in the trap. She said it was enough that her girls would not be tortured anymore by that most perverse and cruel prince. What a terrible boy, thought Gaina as she raised the hood on her cloak and raced through the streets toward Lord Strail's house. It is good that he will never be king. The following morning, the king and queen of Camlorn held their daily audience with various nobles and diplomats, a sparse gathering. The throne room was largely empty. It was a terribly dull way to begin the day. In between petitions, they yawned regally. What has happened to all the interesting people? The queen murmured. Where's our precious boy? I've heard he was raging through the north quarter in search of some harlot who robbed him, the king chuckled fondly. What a fine lad. And what of the royal battle mage? I've sent him to take care of a delicate matter. The king knit his brow. But that was nearly a week ago, and I haven't heard one word from him. It's somewhat troubling. Indeed it is. Lord Errol should not be gone so long, the queen frowned. What if a rogue sorcerer came and threatened us? Husband, don't laugh at me. That is why all the royal houses of Hyrule keep their mage retainers close to their side, to protect their court from evil enchantments, like the one that our poor emperor suffered so recently. At the hand of his own battle mage, chuckled the king. Lord Errol would never betray you like that, and you well know it. He has been in your employ since you were Duke of Oloine. To even make that comparison between he and Jaeger Tharn, really, the queen waved her hands dismissively. It is that sort of lack of trust that is ruining kingdoms all over Tamriel. Now, Lord Strail tells me there's another man that's gone missing, mused the king. The ambassador? The queen shook her head. No, he's here. He was desirous to visit the crypts and pay homage to your noble ancestors, so I directed him there. I can't think what's keeping him so long. He must be more pious than I thought. She was surprised to see the king rise up, alarmed. Why didn't you tell me? Before she had a chance to reply, the subject of their conversation was coming through the open door to the throne room. and on his arm was a beautiful, fair-haired woman in a stately gown of scarlet and gold, worthy of the highest nobility. The queen followed her startled husband's gaze, and was likewise amazed. "I had heard he was taken with one of the harlots from the flower festival. Not a lady," she whispered. "Why, she looks remarkably like your daughter, the Lady Gilead." "That she does," the king gasped. "Or her cousin, the Princess Talara." The nobles in the room also whispered among themselves. Though few had been at court 20 years ago when the princess had disappeared, presumed murdered like the rest of the royal family, there were still a few elder statesmen who remembered. It was not only on the throne that the word Talara passed through the air like an enchantment. "Lord Strail, will you introduce us to your lady?" the queen asked with a polite smile. "In a moment, your highness. But I'm afraid I must first discuss pressing matters," Lord Strail replied with a bow. "Might I request a private audience?" The king looked at the imperial ambassador, trying to read into the man's expression. With a wave of his hand, he dismissed the assembled and had the doors shut behind them. No one remained in the audience room but the king, the queen, the ambassador, a dozen royal guards, and the mysterious woman. The ambassador pulled from his pocket a sheaf of old, yellowed parchment. "Your highness, when you ascended the throne after your brother and his family were murdered, anything that seemed important, deeds and wills, were of course kept with the clerks and ministers. His entire incidental, unimportant personal correspondence was sent to archive, which is standard protocol. This letter was among them." "What is this all about, sir?" the king boomed. "What does it say?" "Nothing about you, your majesty. In truth, at the time of your majesty's ascension, no one reading it could have understood its significance. It was a letter to the emperor the late king your brother was penning at the time of his assassination, concerning a thief who had once been a mage priest at the temple of Sethiat here in Camlorn. His name was Jaeger Tharn." "Jaeger Tharn?" the queen laughed nervously. "Why, we were just talking about him." Tharn had stolen many books of powerful and forgotten spells, and lore about such artifacts as the Staff of Chaos, where it was hidden and how it could be used. News traveled slowly to westernmost High Rock, and by the time the king your brother had heard that the emperor's new battle mage was a man named Jaeger Tharn, many years had passed. The king had been writing a letter to warn the emperor of the treachery of his imperial battle mage, but it was never completed. Lord Strail held up the letter. It is dated on the day of his assassination in the year 385, 4 years before Jaeger Tharn betrayed his master and began the 10 years of tyranny of the imperial simulacrum. "That is all very interesting," the king barked, "but what has it to do with me?" "The late king's assassination is now a matter of imperial concern, and I have a confession from your royal battle mage, Lord Errol." The king's face lost all color. "You miserable worm! No man may threaten me. Neither you, nor that whore, nor that letter will ever see the light of day again. Guards!" The royal guards unsheathed their blades and pressed forward. As they did so, there was a sudden shimmering of light, and the room was filled with imperial night blades, led by Prosicus. They had been there for hours, lurking invisibly in the shadows. "In the name of his imperial majesty, Uriel Septim VII, I arrest you," said Strail. The doors were opened, and the king and queen were led out, heads bowed. Gaina told Prosicus where he would most likely find their son, Prince Silo. The courtiers and nobles who had been in the audience chamber stared at the strange, solemn procession of their king and queen to their own royal prison. No one said a word. When at last a voice was heard, it startled all. The Lady Gilead had arrived at court. "What is happening? Who dares to usurp the authority of the king and queen?" Lord Strail turned to Prosicus. "We would speak with the Lady Gilead alone. You know what needs to be done." Prosicus nodded and had the doors to the throne room closed again. The courtiers pressed against the wood, straining to hear everything. Though they could not say it, they wanted an explanation almost as much as her ladyship did. The Mystery of Princess Talara, Part 5, by Mara Lyketh, Part 5 of the story of Princess Talara. "By what right do you arrest my father?" cried the Lady Gilead. "What has he done?" "I arrest the King of Camlorn, the former Duke of Olowine, by my right as an Imperial commanding officer and ambassador," said Lord Strail, "by the right of law of the Emperor of Tamriel, which supersedes all provincial royal authority." Gaina came forward and tried to put her hand on Gilead's arm, but she was coldly rebuffed. Quietly, she sat down at the foot of the throne in the now empty audience chamber. "This young lady came to me, having completely recovered her memory, but the story she told was beyond incredible. I simply couldn't believe it," said Lord Strail. "But she was so convinced of it, I had to investigate. So I talked to everyone who was here at the palace 20 years ago, to see if there could be any truth to it. Of course, At the time of the king and queen's murder and the princess's disappearance, there was a full inquiry made, but I had different questions to ask this time. Questions about the relationship between the two little cousins, Lady Julia Reyes and the princess. I've told everyone over and over again, I don't remember anything at all about that time in my life, said Julia, tears welling up. I know you don't. There has never been a question in my mind that you witnessed a horrible murder, and that your memory lapse, and hers, said Lord Strail, gesturing towards Gyna, are both very real. The story I heard from the servants and other people at the palace was that the little girls were inseparably close. There were no other playmates, and as the princess's place was to be close to her parents, so the little Lady Julia was always there as well. When the assassin came to murder the royal family, the king and queen were in their bedroom, and the girls were playing in the throne room. When my memory came back to me, it was like opening a sealed box, said Gyna solemnly. Everything was so clear and detailed, like it had all happened yesterday, not 20 years ago. I was on the throne, playing Empress, and you were hiding behind the dais, pretending you were in a dungeon I had sent you to. A man I had never seen burst into the room from the royal bedchamber, his blade soaked in blood. He came at me, and I ran for my life. I remember starting to run for the dais, but I saw your face, frozen in fear, and I didn't want to lead him to you, so I ran for the window. We had climbed on the outside of the castle before, just for fun. That was one of the first memories that came back to me when I was holding on to that cliff. You and I on the castle wall, and the king calling up to me, telling me how to get down. But that day, I couldn't hold on, I was trembling so much. I just fell and landed in the river. I don't know if it was entirely the horror of what I had seen, or that combined with the impact of the fall and the coldness of the water, but everything just went blank in my mind. When I finally pulled myself out of the river, many miles away, I had no idea who I was, and so it stayed, Gyna smiled, until now. So you are the Princess Talara? Cried Julia. Let me explain further before she answers that, because the simple answer would just confuse you, as it did me, said Lord Strail. The assassin was caught before he managed to escape the palace. In truth, he had known he was going to be caught. He confessed immediately to the murders of the royal family. The princess, he said, he had thrown out the window to her death. A servant down below heard the scream and saw something fly past his window, so he knew it to be true. It was not for several hours that little Lady Julia was found by her nursemaid Ramke hiding behind the dais, coated with dust, shivering with fear, and unable to speak at all. Ramke was very protective of you, Strail said, nodding to Julia. She insisted on putting you to your room right away, and sent word to the Duke of Olowine that the royal family was dead, and that his daughter had witnessed the murders but survived. I'm beginning to remember a little of that, said Julia, wonderingly. I remember lying in bed, with Ramke comforting me. I was so muddled and I couldn't concentrate. I remember I just wanted it all to be playtime still. I don't know why. And then, I remember being bundled up and taken to that asylum. It'll all come back to you soon, Gyna smiled. I promise. That's how I began to remember. I just caught one detail, and the whole flood began. That's it, Julia began to sob in frustration. I don't remember anything else except confusion. No, I also remember Daddy not even looking at me as I was taken away, and I remember not caring about that or anything else. It was a confusing time for all, particularly so for the little girls, especially the little girls who went through what you two did, said Lord Strail sympathetically. From what I understand, as soon as he received the message from Ramke, the Duke left his palace at Olowine, gave orders for you to be sent to a private sanitarium until you'd recovered from your ordeal, and set to work with his private guard torturing the assassin for information. When I heard that no one but the Duke and his personal guard saw the assassin after he gave his initial confession, and that no one was present but the Duke and his guards when the assassin was killed trying to escape, I thought that very significant. I spoke with Lord Errol, who I knew was one of those present, and I had to bluff him, pretending I had more evidence than I did. I got the reaction I was hoping for, though it was a dangerous gambit. At last he confessed to what I already knew to be true. The assassin, Lord Strail paused and reluctantly met Julia's eyes, had been hired by the Duke of Olowine to kill the royal family, including the princess's heir, so that the crown might be passed to him and to his children. Julia stared at Lord Strail, aghast. My father? The assassin had been told that once the Duke had him in custody, he would be paid and a prison break would be arranged. The thug picked the wrong time to be greedy and tried to get more gold. The Duke decided that it would be cheaper to silence him, so he murdered him then and there, so the man would never tell anyone what really happened. Lord Strail shrugged. No tragic loss as far as murderers go. In a few years' time, he returned from the sanitarium, a little shaken but back to normal, except for a complete absence of memory about your childhood. and in that time, the former Duke of Olowine had taken his brother's place as the King of Camlor. It was no small maneuver. No, said Julia quietly. He must have been very busy. He remarried and had another child. No one ever came to visit me in the sanitarium but Ramke. If he had visited and seen you, said Gyna, this story might have turned out very differently. What do you mean? Asked Julia. This is the most amazing part, said Lord Strail. The question has long been whether Gyna is the Princess Talara. When her memory returned, and she told me what she remembered, I put several pieces of evidence together. Consider these facts. The two of you look remarkably alike now after 20 years of living very different lives, and as little girls and constant playmates, you looked nearly identical. At the time of the assassination, the murderer, who had never been there before, saw only one girl on the throne, who he assumed to be his quarry. The woman who found Lady Julia was her nursemaid Ramke, a creature of unstable mind and fanatical devotion to her charge, the type that would never accept the possibility that her beloved little girl had been the one who disappeared. The nursemaid was the only single person who knew both Princess Talara and the Lady Julia who visited you while you were in the sanitarium. Finally, said Lord Strail, consider the fact that when you returned to court from the sanatorium, 5 years had passed, and you had grown from a child to a young lady. You looked familiar, but not quite the same as your family remembered you, which is only natural. I don't understand, cried the poor girl, her eyes wide, because she did understand. Her memory was falling together like a terrible flood. Let me explain it like this, said her cousin, wrapping her in her arms. I know who I am now. My real name is Julia Reyes. That man who was arrested was my father, the man who murdered the king, your father. You are the Princess Talara.
Letter to Clexius. Dear Clexius, it's as you feared. The news here in Riften is troubling on many levels. Now, I've studied goblins all my life, and while customs differ from tribe to tribe, one thing has always held true. They are beholden to their shamans, and removing them will turn the entire tribe docile. Moreover, we have seen this method work in practice, most famously with the three-feathered tribe near Bruma. Yet still the rumor persists of goblin activity near the border. Most disturbing is the news that the Blue God himself is leading them. Could it be Malakath himself in some form? Regardless, if some Daedric being has found its way to this realm, this is a cause for concern. I'll be headed to Grom's Pass in the morning to investigate. Faithfully yours, Avanessa Caladius.
Mara smiles upon you. Talon J. I've checked with Marimar, and I'm certain an arrangement can be made to incorporate the traditional Argonian bonding ceremonies, should the need arise. It would be our pleasure to receive you at the temple, and to have Marimar perform a marriage ceremony between yourself and Kirava, but we'd request the appropriate tithe be made, as we previously discussed. Whatever you decide, I wish you both the best of luck, and hope to see you here soon. Drifa.
The Legend of Lover's Lament by Kroll Baumaval. The night is very dark. Wind gently ruffles the willow trees. All is quiet, or so it appears, around the shores of the small lake. Tamriel's moons reflect in the slightly rippling surface of the water. An owl's questioning call echoes. No lights are shining from the castle nearby. It appears deserted. As the night wears on and the planet's satellites move across the heavens, a faint glow appears near the castle. The light slowly moves toward the lake, and upon reaching the shore, stops. A figure, a beautiful woman by any measure, stands looking wistfully into the dark water. Her lantern flickers in the breeze and illuminates her. Tears are streaming down her cheeks. Her gown, once beautiful, is now tattered and stained. The surface of the lake becomes agitated, but not from a wind, as the night has become as still as it is dark. Slowly from the water emerges the figure of a man, a warrior, fully adorned in the armor of a knight on the field of battle. He seems to float over the water toward the woman and stop just short of her. "Madalena," the ghostly warrior intones. "My lord." "Girthland," whispers the lovely Madalena as she kneels. "You have come to me again." "Yes," Girthland responds. "My days are long, waiting for the night in which I can see my love." The lovers stand looking wistfully at each other, unable to touch, unable to kiss, unable to satisfy their unrequited love until the first Tinges of dawn start to color the western sky. Girthlin drops something to the ground, as does Madalena as each depart. The waters of the lake again take possession of the handsome knight, and the beautiful maiden walks slowly back to the castle. As the waters of the lake settle into a gentle ripple and the light of Madalena's lantern disappears, dawn breaks over the lake. On the shore are two beautiful roses, one crimson and the other white as fresh cream. Ripples from the lake overtake the two flowers and pull them into the lake, leaving the shore bare as it was in the hours before darkness fell. The townsfolk around Girthlin Manor tell often of seeing these lovers in their nightly meetings. The Boar's Bristle Inn is always rumbling with conversations about them. Lord Girthlin and Lady Madalena, who were betrothed. Lord Girthlin called to battle to defend his land. Hergen, the castle's resident sorcerer, became inflamed with love and lust for Madalena, only to be rebuked by her. Lord Girthlin's death on the field of battle, Lady Madalena's death by her own hand at the news. Hergen's curse on both their souls that will not allow them to rest until Madalena will agree to become Hergen's consort even in death. Hergen, to this day, wanders the deserted halls of Girthlin Manor, hoping that Madalena will agree to his demands. And the lovers continue to meet for a few moments each night on the shores of the lake, now known as Lover's Lament. The Liturgy of Affliction, a collection of the writings of Vexis Vel Ruin, transcribed by Aeneas Gale. Dearest reader, the tome that you hold in your hands is a chronicle of pain, of torment, and of discovery. In these memoirs I shall impart to you an autobiography of a foolish and failed attempt to achieve a great power. Walk with me as I break the bonds of propriety, throw off the restraints of the ancient laws of the arcane, and cast aside the bonds of magical ethics. For contained herein you shall find the dying words of Vexis Velruan. Let it be known to you, loyal reader, that I remain until my dying moment a student of magica, but no typical apprentice am I. I am one who has forged a unique path to the deeper understandings of the mechanics of magica. Through the infliction of destruction magic upon my own flesh, I have accomplished more than any student before me has. It is by that folly that I come to you now, lucid as ever, fully alert in my faculties, and acutely cognizant of the sacrifices that I have made in my quest. I have long since lost the capacity to feel any physical sensation beyond absolute agony. I've become so accustomed to it, so detached from the feeling, that to me pain is simply always there. You do not think of the air around you as a sensation, do you? How is it, you ask, that I came to be what I am? It began innocently enough. I was once a healer, one of the most promising students of the temple. Which one? It doesn't matter. I was eventually expelled. Fools. You see, we had a number of patients interred in our humble sanctuary who had been infected with the red fever. My attempts to use the magical arts to turn the disease on itself were less than successful in their early stages. For trying to find a cure, I was cast out. It was not long after my exile that I discovered the means to eradicate infection using the destructive energies of magica. In my explorations of the School of Destruction, I discovered that by pulling the elemental energies through my own body, I was able to increase the raw output of energy. From the experience of a lightning bolt surging through my own body, I was able to deepen my understanding of the raw forces of magica. At first, the pain was bearable. I directed only a minor amount of the energy back in toward myself. I learned to couple the destruction with restorative energies. It helped to abate the damage done to my body, but did nothing to stop the pain itself. As my tolerance for the pain increased, I began to channel more and more through my own body. My understanding of destruction outgrew my understanding of restoration. While it could still lessen the damage, it could not stop it. My skin became charred and blackened. It dried, flaked off, and cracked. I stank of cooked meat. But I could not resist the draw of more and more energy. I became like a skooma fiend of the worst sort. I no longer used magic for any practical purpose. I simply sought out more and more energy. I relished the pain. I anticipated the moment when the energy and the pain would wash over me as one, freezing my flesh, burning it beyond recognition. My skin became a network of scars, sores, lesions, and burns. But it was never enough. Never. I needed more pain, more power. I lost my sight. My eyes melted into boiling pools of vitreous humor so hot that they left streaks of blistered skin as they ran down my face, like burning tears. My right hand froze solid and shattered into 1,000 pieces when I carelessly bashed it against a door jamb in terror. Once I realized what had happened, the bones of both my legs shattered outward like broken glass, shredding the flesh and muscle surrounding them. While this may sound like a fate of terrible consequence, my dearest reader, I can assure you that you will never know what it is to be a creature of flesh and bone like I have. You will never have the degree of knowledge of frailty of the flesh that I have grown to know. I achieved a level of understanding of magic beyond that of the great masters of the guild. But that accomplishment pales in comparison to the grander discoveries that this experience has bestowed upon me. People like you think that pain is to be avoided, hidden from, feared. Through my suffering and the numbness that now robs me of the ability to feel it, I can say this to you. Pain is a simple factor of human existence. It affords us the opportunity to feel, to appreciate the temporary shell that our spirits occupy. Pain is the greatest gift that the gods have ever given mortal men. And now, as I tell you this story by way of a scribe, I am a stump of a man, wrapped in seeping bandages, never to know pleasure again. Even still, I have but one message to impart to you. Embrace what you are. Glory to Lord Sheogorath, for he has opened my eyes.
That smile doesn't just make my heart race. It makes my blood fucking burn. Come here. So, what are we doing tonight? Ah, it's so nice to be home with the kids.
What are you gawking at? Can't you see I have problems here?
Is something wrong?
Are you kidding me? Look at this place. I'm supposed to be holding a tasting of the new Hunting Brew Reserve for the captain of the guard. If he sees the meadery in this state, I'll be ruined.
I might be able to help.
Oh, really? And I don't suppose you'd just do it out of the kindness of your heart, would you? I hope you're not expecting to get paid until the job's done.
That's the only way I operate.
Oh, very well. Here's half. You'll get the rest when the job's done. My only demand is that these vermin are permanently eliminated before my reputation is completely destroyed.
How do I permanently clear the vermin?
I bought some poison. I was going to have my lazy good-for-nothing assistant Malice handle it, but he seems to have vanished. If you plant this in the vermin's nest, it should stop them from ever coming back.
You've got a deal.
Don't come back until every one of those things are dead. Now I've got to clean up this mess.
Hey, it feels like we've done this dance before. I shield you from the scratches and you heal up my scratches. Suddenly I've lost all my appreciation.
I can't wait to see Sabjorn squirm.
Was something we discussed unclear?
Job's finished.
Well, it's about time. I had to stall the captain until you were finished.
What about my pay?
You'll just have to wait until after the captain's finished. I suppose you can wait around if you must.
I am not tasting that meat. Poor sod doesn't know what's coming to him.
Well, Sabjorn, now that you've taken care of your little pest problem, how about I get a taste of some of your mead?
Help yourself, my lord. It's my finest brew yet. I call it Honningbrew Reserve. I think you'll find it quite pleasing to your palate.
Oh, come now. This is mead, not some wine to be sipped and savored. By the 8. What's in this?
I don't know. What's wrong?
You assured me this place was clean. I'll see to it that you remain in irons for the rest of your days.
No, please. I don't understand.
Silence, idiot. I should have known better to trust this place after it's been riddled with filth.
I beg you, please. This is not what it seems.
You're in charge here until I can sort this all out.
It will be my pleasure.
And you're coming with me to Dragon's Reach. We'll see how quickly your memory clears in the city's prisons. Now, move.
Look, I assure you this is all just a huge misunderstanding.
I said, move.
Farewell, Sabjorn. I don't think that could have gone any better. Anything else you need before you head back to Riften?
I need to get a look at Sabjorn's books.
So, Maven wants to hunt down Sabjorn's private partner, huh? You're welcome to take a look around Sabjorn's office. He keeps most of his papers stashed in his desk. Here, this should help.
You never mentioned that lunatic living in the tunnels.
I thought it would be better to leave some of the details out of our previous discussion. Didn't want to risk you walking away from the job. Besides, you've done Maven a favor getting rid of him, and saved me from wasting coin hiring someone else to do it later.
What are you going to do with this place?
Start changing it over to the Blackbriar Meadery West as soon as possible. That was Maven's part of the deal. She's put me in charge of keeping the mead flowing, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. If you're in the area, and you ever need anything fenced, you just let me know. Remember to put in a good word with Maven for me.
Promissory note. Sabjorn, Within the enclosed crate, you'll find the final payment. As we discussed, Haunting Room Meadery should now begin brewing mead at full production. In regards to your concerns about interference from Maven Blackbriar, I can assure you that I'll do everything in my power to keep her assets and her cronies at bay. This is the beginning of a long and successful future for both of us.
Maven Blackbriar's offer. Sabjorn, this is my third and final offer. I feel that I've been more than generous with the amounts I've stated to buy your meadery. There's no reason for competition to stifle both of our businesses. Unified, we could make Blackbriar Mead a household name and bury anyone else who tries to start a similar business in Skyrim. If you wish to accept my offer, please come to Riften and stay at my manor as a guest. I think you'll find that being part of the Blackbriar family would be both lucrative and life-saving. Maven.
If you've got the coin, you've come to the right place. Pull up a seat.
Ours is to smile at your passing, friend.
My skill in battle is unmatched. Fortunately for you, that skill can be bought.
I trust you have good news for me?
Job's finished. Here's the information you
This
requested.
doesn't tell me much. The only thing that could identify Sabjorn's partner is this odd little symbol. Well, whoever this mysterious marking represents, they'll regret starting a war with me. You should bring this information to the Thieves Guild immediately. There's also the matter of your payment. I believe you'll find this more than adequate for your services.
How did you become allied with the Thieves Guild?
The Blackbriar family has always been allied with the Guild. Our connections with the Empire and within Skyrim make for a perfect fit. I dare say the Guild owes its survival as much to my family as it does to its own people. I believe we're done.
Oh, something smells good. Got me a mouth watering so bad I'm surprised drool isn't running down the chin.
Ready for some work, or are you just gonna wander around all day?
Pull up a seat. Have a drink.
I've completed the numbers job.
Here's your share. Well done.
Interested in buying this Honningbrew decanter?
Well, well. I was looking for this little beauty. If you happen across any other unusual trinkets like this, be sure to bring them to me. I promise it'll be worth the effort. I think you'll find this payment to be more than fair. Where are you off to? There's work to be done. Need some gold? I may have some work for you.
I'm ready for some extra work.
All right. Anything in particular strike your fancy?
Why can't you just settle down?
Do you have any numbers jobs?
I don't want to settle.
These marks keep their ledgers all neat and tidy, but they're ripe for some change, if you know what I mean. Take it?
I can take care of myself.
I'll do it.
Keep this up, and you'll be rich enough to retire before you know it. Good luck.
Welcome to the cozy little family. I'm one of the lookouts for the guild. I watch Delvin's back. Armor from Grelka.
Working at the Riften Fishery is tough, but it puts some coin in my pocket.
Word on the street is that poor Sabjorn has found himself in Whiterun's prison. How unfortunate for him.
Yet very fortunate for Maven.
Exactly. Now you're beginning to see how our little system works. Maven sent word that you discovered something else while you were out there. Something important to the guild?
Should help.
The same symbol from Golden Glow was involved.
Then this is beyond coincidence. First Arangoth, and now Sabjorn. Someone's trying to take us down by driving a wedge between Maven and the guild.
Please help me. I'm starving.
Here, this should help.
Poor bugger.
Mercer thinks he knows a way to identify this new thorn in our side. He wants to meet with you right away. And if I were you, I'd hurry. I've never seen him this angry before.
Buy some armor and live to...
Maybe we could visit a shop here and find a little treat to satisfy your sweet tooth. You did say you liked anything sweet, right?
Ah, there you are. I've consulted my contacts regarding the information you recovered from Golden Glow Estate, but no one can identify that symbol.
I found the same marking at Honningbrew Meadery,
It would seem our adversary is attempting to take us apart indirectly by angering Maven Blackbriar. Very clever.
You admire them?
They're well funded, and they've been able to avoid identification for years. I'm impressed it reached this point. Just don't mistake my admiration for complacency. Our nemesis is going to pay dearly.
How can we make them pay?
Because even after all their posturing and planning, they've made a mistake. The parchment you recovered mentions a Godgel lie. According to my sources, that's an old alias used by one of our contacts. His real name is Gullum Eye. Slimy bastard.
Where do I begin?
Gullum Eye is our inside man at the East Empire Company in Solitude. I'm betting he acted as a go-between for the sale of Golden Glow Estate and that he can finger our buyer. Get out there, shake him down, and see what you come up with. Talk to Brynjolf before you leave if you have any questions.
I can't believe Gullum Eye's mixed up in all this. That Argonian couldn't find his tail with both hands.
Think he'll give me
Don't
trouble?
get me wrong. He could trouble. He's one of the most stubborn lizards I've ever met. You have your work cut out for you.
So how do I get him to talk?
You're going to have to buy him off. It's the only way to get his attention. If that fails, follow him and see what he's up to. If I know Gullum Eye, he's in way over his head, and you'll be able to use it as leverage.
He's going to owe us for this betrayal.
Aye, he does indeed. And with his fingers in the East Empire Company's pie, we'll make good use of that debt. If I'm not being clear enough, that means we don't want him killed. For now, just keep on his tail and he's bound to step into something he can't scrape off his boot. Good luck in Solitude. Keep Gullum Eye alive, but remind him who we are. What did you...
Hey, wanna play tag?
The taste of
Divine smile on you, friend.
fresh fish. Fresh
A coin or two for a veteran? It's not much to ask.
Stuck-up twats.
Got something for just about everybody in here. Give a holler if you have any questions. Hello, here to buy? If you have to ask the price, you might be in the wrong store.
I hope you're not planning on picking my pocket.
Yes?
away from me!
Being old's not so bad. Daughter keeps me fed, and my working days are done. Have you heard? There's been another dragon attack. Kind's Grove this time.
Letter to Gisli. Construction on the port east of Johanna has been approved and will begin once the transfer of land is official. The boy's consent should suffice, as the head of the Iceblade clan has long been absent, and the mother is taken ill, per your brother's instructions. The deed is enclosed with this letter. Sending the boy to Riften before he's old enough to grasp what happened is a good idea. Not the orphanage, though. It's best he live in comfort, lest he suspect our motives. Still, it's a dangerous gambit, made more complicated should the rightful heir return. Your brother would kill me for saying this, but if you have the chance, it may be worth selling the venture for the right price. This has been more trouble than it's worth. M.
A pleasure, Thane.
Hey, wanna play tag?
Spiced wine, the taste of home and heart.
Arms and armor, forged by a master craftsman.
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything. Think I got a clean mug around here somewhere.
Sup? Oh, what do we have here? Let me guess. By your scent, I'd say you were from the guild. But that can't be true, because I told Mercer I wouldn't deal with them anymore.
I'm here about Golden Glow Estate.
I don't deal in land or property. Now, if you're looking for goods, You've come to the right person.
You can drop the act now, Gadjul Lay.
Oh, wait. Did you say Golden Glow Estate? My apologies. I'm sorry to say I know very little about that, bee farm, was it?
You acted as a broker for its new owner.
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I can't be expected to remember every deal I handle.
Identify the buyer and we'll forget what we know.
All right. Had I known this deal would bring me this much trouble, I never would have accepted the gold. I was approached by a woman who wanted me to act as the broker for something big. She flashed a bag of gold in my face and said all I had to do was pay Arangoth for the estate. I brought in the coin and walked away with her copy of the deed.
Did she say why she was doing this?
Not at all. I tend not to ask too many questions when I'm on the job. I'm sure you understand. However, I did notice she was quite angry, and it was being directed at Mercer Frey.
That's it? No name or anything?
In this business, we rarely deal in names. Our identity comes from how much coin we carry.
I think you're lying to me.
Look, that's all I know. I never promised you I'd have all the answers. Now, since our transaction is done, I'll be on my way.
Oh, me sodden knees! I hate this lizard already.
The Greybeards have summoned the Dragonborn to High Hrothgar. Such a thing has not happened for hundreds of years.
You know you can afford a septim or two.
What could it mean? The return of the Dragonborn? And who among us could possibly hold that honor and such power? What is it, Elf?
Can we walk for a while?
Good business for the East Empire Company means all the more gold for the Empire.
This place sells a lot of junk.
this time. Walk into the city of free.
I'll never do another span in that stinking job. Dive.
Let's wait and see what it does. Some argonians can be shifty.
Should have known she was mine. Said she'd wait.
What was that?
Nothing here after all.
Is someone there?
I can't thank you enough.
Now, there's no need to do anything rash. This isn't as bad as it seems. I was gonna tell Mercer about everything, honestly. Please, he'll have me killed.
Mercer doesn't have to know.
I see you wish to be reasonable. Perhaps I misjudged you. The name of the person you want is Carlia.
You say that name like I should know it.
Mercer never told you about her? Carlia is the thief responsible for murdering the previous guildmaster, Gallus. Now she's after Mercer.
And you're helping her?
Help? No. Look, I didn't even know it was her until after she contacted me. Please, you have to believe me.
Where is Carlia now?
I don't know. When I asked her where she was going, she just muttered, "Where the end began." Here, take the Golden Glow estate deed as proof. And when you speak to Mercer, tell him I'm worth more to him alive.
picking pockets. Now that's the real one. No rough stuff, just take it and go. Looks like much fun though.
My sexy wife.
Any thoughts?
Have you ever thought of taking to the sea? Just leaving the world behind?
Is this where you admit that as a child you wanted to grow up to be a pirate?
Maybe.
About surviving out here.
Aye? What about it?
I'm exhausted.
Maybe we should rest for the night.
Could you set up a campsite?
Okay. Give me a minute and I'll set up a tent. You'll be safe and warm inside. As you wish. Love, sleeping out under the stars. But it's nice to be out of the wind tonight. Aye.
What's on your mind?
Is there anything you can't do with magic? Like, make extra body parts and whatnot? I'm just curious, don't take it the wrong way.
Tell me about yourself.
Ask away. I love you, little saber cat.
Golden Glow Bill of Sale. This deed signifies ownership of Golden Glow Estate to the undersigned. This includes all property, livestock, resources, buildings, and staff. Ownership may only be transferred with an accompanying bill of sale.
Letter from Kaiden, Midas, 14 Mid-Year 201. Dear Lyria, you've been hard at work, earning coin, adventuring, and seeing what's out there. Figured since we could use a break, here's some spare coin I saved. Why don't we stop by the nearest inn and enjoy a nice evening? Listen to some bards? This is not an invitation to drag me down to that cold, bitter town up north. Kaiden. The Liturgy of the Duelists. We purge ourselves of the duel, Sheogorath will mend us. We purge our friends in duel, Sheogorath will mend them. We purge our enemies in war, Sheogorath will abandon them. Speak not of the duelists, speak only of the duel. Speak not of the combatant, speak only of the combat. The Many-Headed Talos. Excerpts. And after the throne of Alinor did finally break at the feet of men, and news of it came to the dragon emperor in Cyrodiil, he gathered his captains and spoke to them, saying, "You have suffered for me to win this throne, and I see how you hate jungle. Let me show you the power of Talos Stormcrown. Born of the north, where my breath is long winter, I breathe now in royalty and reshape this land which is mine. I do this for you, Red Legions, for I love you." Guard Dossier, Azrael. Status, active, capture or kill, high priority. Description, male, high elf, age unknown. Background, a member of the Crimson Dirks, a notorious group of bandits and marauders originally based in Cyrodiil. Little else is known about the target, although some intelligence suggests he was often used as an information gatherer for the bandits. Operational notes. It was originally thought that an Altmer might attempt to blend into wealthier circles, but according to our informant, he's done the opposite. He's stripped his armor and gone native, hunting game in the forests south of Sunderstone Gorge. He should still be considered dangerous, however, and it would be wise to put up a bounty when his identity is confirmed.
Hamelin's Journal by Hamelin. 10 years of ridicule, 10 years of imprisonment, 10 years of exile. The children threw rocks, and the women spat upon me as the menfolk dragged me into Whiterun's prison. They branded me a danger to their pitiful existence, used words like madman and insane. Could a madman escape the prison undetected? Could a lunatic establish a laboratory right under their noses? Could a psychopath create a mighty army from the common skeever? My days as an apprentice alchemist in Winterhold were no better. Those egotistical braggarts couldn't compete with my abilities. Where they fell short, I'd constantly excel. Did they appreciate my genius? Did they relish my contributions? No. My instructors beat me and said I was irresponsible, and the Archmage cast me into the streets like a common beggar. As my enemy grows complacent and weak, as they forget Hamelin and his utter brilliance, I build my army. I use every bit of knowledge at my disposal to forge their demise. Thanks to Sabjorn's unwitting assistance, my legion grows stronger every day. The irony that the same ingredients used to make his vile drink could be used to feed my offspring isn't lost upon me. Oh, they will pay. Their ignorance of impending annihilation amuses me. I will bury Whiterun and watch Winterhold burn. And when they experience the fury I've unleashed upon them, when my progeny are gnawing the flesh from their bones, they will come begging and groveling at my feet. But there will be no mercy, no quarter, no leniency. And I will laugh, I will dance, I will rejoice over their mangled, broken corpses. The time for recompense has arrived. 10 years of pain, 10 years of misery, 10 years of death. Inchinak's Fire and Faith by Inchinak. Inchinak's journey among the Dwemer and his attempts to understand the teachings of Kagrenak. This book is a translated account of Inchinak's travels among the various colonies of the Dwemer, explaining the theories of Kagrenak. I made inquiry as to the state of enlightenment among the people he spoke for. He answered that with respect to the theories of Kagrenak, there was but one scholar near who could guide the people through the maze that leads to true misunderstanding. He informed me, however, that in Karaka the precepts of Kagrenak were taught. He said that nothing pleased him more than to see the Dwemer of Karaka, the most learned people in the world, studying Kagrenak's words and giving consideration to their place in the life to come, and where neither planar division, nor the numeration of amnesia, nor any other thing of utility was more valued than the understanding of the self and its relationship to the heart. I was gracious enough to receive this as a high compliment, and, removing my helm, I thanked him and departed with an infinity of bows. Nerevar, Moon and Star, an imperial scholarly work on the legend of Indoril Nerevar. This is a selection from a series of monographs by various imperial scholars on Ashlander legends. In ancient days, The Deep Elves and a great host of outlanders from the west came to steal the land of the Dunmer. In that time, Nerevar was the great Khan and war leader of the House People, but he honored the ancient spirits and the tribal law, and became as one of us. So, when Nerevar pledged upon his great ring of the ancestors, one clan under Moon and Star, to honor the ways of the spirits and rights of the land, all the tribes joined the House People to fight a great battle at Red Mountain. Though many Dunmer, tribesmen and housemen, died at Red Mountain, the Dwemer were defeated and their evil magics destroyed, and the Outlanders driven from the land. But after this great victory, the power-hungry Khans of the great houses slew Nerevar in secret, and, setting themselves up as gods, neglected Nerevar's promises to the tribes. But it is said that Nerevar will come again with his ring, and cast down the false gods, and by the power of his ring will make good his promises to the tribes, to honor the spirits, and drive the outsiders from the land.
Nords Arise by Anonymous. Stormcloak's recruitment essay calling for rebellion against the Empire.
Nords, arise! Throw off the shackles of imperial oppression. Do not bow to the yoke of a false emperor. Be true to your blood, to your homeland. The Empire tells us we cannot worship Holy Talos. How can man set aside a god? How can a true Nord of Skyrim cast aside the god that rose from our own heartland? Mighty Tiber Septim, himself the first emperor, conqueror of all Tamriel, ascended to godhood to sit at the right hand of Akatosh. Tiber Septim, a true son of Skyrim, born in a land of snow and blood, bred to the honor of our people, is now Talos, god of might and honor. The Empire has no right to tell us we cannot worship him. Our own High King, Torrig, betrayed us to the Empire. He traded our god for peace. He agreed to a pact with the Talmor, signed by an emperor in a foreign land. Are we to be beholden to such a pact? No, 1,000 times no. Do not let the lessons of history go unheeded. The Altmeri Dominion and its Talmor masters made war upon men, just as the elves made war upon Ysgramor and our people in ancient times. Shining Sartau was burned to the ground, reduced to ruins and rubble in their treacherous assault. But Ysgramor and his sons gathered the 500 companions and made war upon the elves, casting them out of Skyrim. In the great war fought by our fathers, the elves again betrayed men by attacking us unprovoked. The Dominion and the Talmor cannot be trusted. Like Ysgramor, Ulfric Stormcloak is a true hero of Skyrim. His name will ring in Sovngarde for generations to come. Only he had the courage to single out King Torrig and challenge him to trial by arms. Ulfric's Thum, a gift from Talos himself, struck down this traitorous ruler, and by his death we are now free of our imperial shackles and the Salmor overlords that darken the imperial throne. The Empire has sent its legions to govern us. They have enlisted our own countrymen to their cause. They have set brother against brother, father against son. They have caused Skyrim to battle itself in their name, for their cause. Do not let them divide us. Do not let them conquer us. Reject the imperial law that forbids the worship of Talos. Join Ulfric Stormcloak and his cause.
And you never wanted to leave, and you never wanted to leave, and you never wanted to leave, and you never